It's nice to be back. So, I was actually on my way into the grocery store today, and I had a small but very significant encounter that led to this episode. Actually, it was a revelation that Ruach HaKodesh had spoken to me about, and it is about our heart posture. What is yours? All right, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I just want to give my disclaimer. You may or may not hear the neighborhood dogs barking in the background throughout this episode. I don't know what's going on outside, but something's got them spooked and they're being a little bit loud. However, no situation is perfect, so I'm just going to roll with it. Hope it doesn't distract you though. Anyway, so earlier today I was walking into the grocery store. It was about 39 degrees outside. Now, mind you, I had been out earlier. It was not 39 degrees outside. It was closer to 60 something degrees. So I did not have a jacket on that was appropriate for 39 degree weather. So I was just running in and out. So I was walking fast. And as I'm approaching the door, there were these two gentlemen that were standing outside of the entrance. And one of the gentlemen greeted me, very polite. And I turned and looked at him and smiled and greeted him back. There was a table behind him with stuff on it, but I never really paid attention to the table. I just, in my mind, I'm like, it's cold out here. So I went inside, and as I was inside, I kept thinking to myself, what am I going to say if I go outside and he asks me to purchase something? Because I typically don't carry cash on me. That comes from my days in the hood. I felt like if you have plastic, I can cut it off, but if I have cash, you got me. So I typically don't carry cash on me because old habits die hard. So I'm still thinking, like, what am I going to do if he asks me to buy something? Because I like to give back. I like to donate. I like to be a charitable person, but I didn't know what I was going to give to him. And so I'm trying to think of the best polite way to let him know that I wasn't able to help, especially because he was so friendly. So as I finish up my purchase and I'm walking out the door, the other gentleman that never really spoke to me, he's still standing in the same spot. But the gentleman that spoke to me is now engaged in conversation with another man. And we briefly look at each other and he continues his conversation and I just walk to the car. So it's as I was getting in the car that Ruach HaKodesh started speaking to me about heart postures. And he said it's not necessarily the giving that he's looking at. It's the heart posture. Did you want to give? That's how he looks at us. Yes, our actions matter, but he wants our desires to align with his desires. He wants our heart posture to be loving towards each other and loving towards him. So what is your heart posture towards Yahweh first, and then towards your fellow man? Because let's revisit that same scenario, but let's say I did have cash. But when I came out and let's say the gentleman said something to me and I had cash and I just purchased something just because, I'm supposed to. I'm a child of Yahweh, so I'm supposed to give. But I really didn't want to. Well, even though I gave, my heart posture was not very loving. And remember, Yahweh sees our hearts. So man sees our action, Yahweh sees our hearts. Now let's revisit the same situation. And let's say I gave because I joyfully wanted to. And then again, revisit the same situation where I don't have cash, like in real life, I didn't have cash. And I don't know, I guess I kind of lost where I was going with that. But the point is, what is your heart posture? And it's not just when it comes to giving. When it comes to anything, any situation, do we do it because we're supposed to, because we're children of Yahweh? Or do we do it because it makes Yahweh happy and we're grateful to him for the love and forgiveness and mercy and grace that he gives us on a daily basis, and forgiveness that he gives us on a daily basis? Because our heart posture towards our fellow man is typically a reflection of our heart posture towards him. So if our heart posture towards our fellow man is kind of funky, then that's a good indication that our heart posture towards Yahweh is a little funky. And here's the thing, we typically fall into one of three categories, and not all, we don't always fall into the same category every time. Every situation is different. We either give because we're supposed to, we give because we're afraid of going to hell, or we give out of gratitude. And if you sit and you think back on different situations in your past, you can probably place yourself in one of those three categories, just depending on what the situation was. Nobody gets it perfect every time. The goal is to make it into the last category of giving out of gratitude towards Yahweh, most, if not all the time. And he's very patient with us, and he helps us get to that point. We just have to be willing to get to that point. But yeah, our heart posture, especially if it's someone that you don't like. And in the situation that I gave you today, when it came to the gentleman probably didn't even want me to purchase anything. I mean, he never approached me about purchasing anything, but you see where my mind automatically went to. And the thing about it is, money is something that we all kind of struggle with giving up. You know, I typically don't mind giving money to people that are on the exit ramp on highways, but I do have friends that say that they don't want to give because that person might spend the money on something they're not supposed to. Well, it doesn't make me better than them. It just means that in that situation, my heart posture is turned a little more into the correct position than theirs is. Because it doesn't matter what the person does with what you give them. The thing is, did you want to help another human being in their time of need? Because at the end of the day, they might actually need it for what they told you they need it for. You shouldn't make that decision for them just because some people use it for the wrong thing. So what is your heart posture? I know I keep saying it over and over again, but what is your heart posture? And there are other situations where, I don't get it right, there are people that give because there's cameras on them, or they give so they can tell other people that they gave to people. Now, here's the thing. In those situations, your heart posture is wrong, especially if you're videotaping it. If you were in the lowest point of your life, would you want somebody's video camera on you so they can plaster your face while you're at your lowest moment all over social media for the world to see? Because we know that people all over the world can see our social media pages and our YouTube channels. We know this. So why do we feel the need to post it? It's typically because our heart postures are wrong. We're not giving because we love mankind. We're giving to be seen by man and to be praised. We want to be praised. And the problem with that is the same desire that Hashatan has. He was one of the cherubim that was set to guard the throne of Yahweh, his glory, guard his glory, but yet he tried to take it. So, does your heart posture guard Yahweh's glory, or does it rob him of it? All right, you guys. I hope this is something for you to ponder on. It's definitely something for me to ponder on. And it's just something for us to work on if we should find ourselves in the wrong heart posture. You know, there's a saying that goes, be the change you wish to see. And that's absolutely true. If you are someone who is filled with Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of the Almighty God, then whenever you walk into a situation, everything has to change around Ruach HaKodesh. He sets the atmosphere. He sets the tone. So our number one goal is, what is our heart posture towards Yahweh? And then what is our heart posture towards man? And again, we can gauge what our heart posture towards Yahweh is based off of what our heart posture is towards man. It's almost impossible to have matter of fact, it is impossible to have the correct heart posture towards Yahweh, but have an incorrect heart posture towards man. It just is not possible. All right, I love you guys. I hope you're having an amazing week. Tonight is Shabbat, starts Shabbat, so Shabbat Shalom to my mishpachah. I love you guys, and until next time.